You are listening to the Kentucky X-Files with hosts Dennis Mays, Tyler Stewart, and Josh Gibbs. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, so you never miss an episode. Now, for the rest of this conversation.
Something that would be in the context of the supernatural.
He described it as being a gray, silver-looking, upright bipedal creature, dragging a deer out of that cave going up the hill.
Where he goes, hey, I got a question for you. He goes, do you believe in demons?
And it takes one big step and vanishes. I'm like, oh my God, that was a Bigfoot.
And look at these pictures of this white creature.
Something 7'3" to 8 foot tall.
Right.
That, let's say it like.
And I'll tell you right now, if this was a bear, then this bear was standing on his hind legs, and he was running like a man. No, this was no bear.
Now, when it stood up, that's when I knew it was a dog man.
He was walking across the street behind a few kids. One of the children was struck by a car, and he sat there and held her while she died. And it changed him. And when I heard that story, I sat there and I thought to myself, it was almost as if the tree had said to him, so you really want to see death? I'll show you. I don't know. I don't know how it's affected him. I know he turned himself around pretty for the better. He didn't spiral. He turned himself around. The photographs from Bobby Mackey's basement showed a lot of weird, almost like smoke, and it would have been easy to dismiss to just cigarettes, except for we were not allowed to light up and smoke in the basement. They said absolutely no smoking. There was mist, and the picture I'd snapped of my friend in the actual well, there was a mist that looked like a hand coming out of the hole. And that was, I'd never been afraid of a picture before. Of you see pictures on the internet of ghosts and things, and you kind of go, well, I mean, whatever. Take the picture yourself and then see something fucked up on it. It's a weird feeling, that I remember taking that picture over to show my friends and saying, look at that, and I threw it on the table, and they sit there and they're like, damn, it looks like a hand. I was like, dude, that's every bit a hand. That's messed up, and that was, for them, that was it. They were done. For me, not so much. I got interested. I got real interested, so I started, I joined a club. I started going with them out to places. I met women who called themselves witches. I spoke to a lot of people. I went to a couple places. There was one interesting place down in Cincinnati, Ohio, that we went to, where they said that the entity, as they called it, was violent, but confined to one room. I don't know. I don't know the rules.
I'd be violent if I was stuck in a room forever.
Oh yeah, that's true. I went with a couple other people. We took pictures. We placed EMFs. We filmed. Never really found anything. That following day, though, I actually was living at home with my folks. I'd walked out. I didn't have a shirt on. I had scratches down my back. And my mom was like, "What happened to what happened to you? What are you talking about? You have scratches." I had 4 scratches going down my back. And I have no idea. Never felt a thing. I don't know. I could have, maybe I got scratched by something that I, brushed up against. I have no idea. But it was weird, I had no explanation for them. And I just figured I got scratched by something. But and she said, look in the mirror, and I looked in the mirror, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. They were, each scratch was about an inch apart. going straight down my back. And I was like, wow, it's kind of creepy, you know, but still wasn't enough to really convince me, you know. It wouldn't be for many years later that I would become a full-on believer of I think ghost is a terrible word. I don't think it's a proper word, but it would be about 4 years later before I would believe in those folks, those people, you know. And that's a story for some other time, because that's a really hard one for me to talk about and get into, but eventually, you know, I think I've alluded to it a couple times on our show, but folks, it's exhausting. It's an exhausting experience that's happened over the last, say, 8-9 years, and it's finally coming to an end. It's ending, which is nice, you know, but I'll never be able to explain the whole thing in one sitting. There's a few family members, you know, that have firsthand seen what I'm talking about for themselves, that they could probably, you know, verify or whatever, you know, whatever's needed for the skeptical mind. But that's just the thing too, is that I don't feel the same in regards to that experience. You know, when it comes to like what we talk about, the Bigfoot and the cryptids and all that, I'm like, you know, hey, if you disagree or you don't believe or whatever, hey, I'm for that, man. You know, like, follow your gut. That's the most important thing here, is follow your gut. Doesn't matter if I'm right or you're right or anybody's right. Is your gut telling you something? Follow it. You know, trust it, because it's more accurate than you know. But in regards to this experience that I'm talking about, I'm indifferent whether anybody believes it or not. It doesn't matter to me, because it affected my life drastically, and it just doesn't matter. Like, I don't care. That's why I don't really care if I tell it or not. It doesn't matter.
I feel like you're at that point with that type of thing, because how it affects your life. It's the whole, like, I'm going to name drop the Steve from How to Hunt. He says he has the same feeling about Sasquatch, Bigfoot as you do with that, because he knows what he saw, and it doesn't matter. He just wants you to know. But if you don't believe, who cares?
Pretty much.
That's how, like, because he had that profound sighting that actually changed his. Yeah,
absolutely,
changed him.
Absolutely.
So I get that.
Profound experiences that happened in dreams, where the details were simply impossible to know. You know, there was no way for me to have the information that I received. So I went to sleep one night, you know, one way. I woke up completely different and emotionally wrecked. And every time it happened afterwards, it drained me. I mean, I went through a severe depression because of it, where I withdrew from everyone and didn't reach out. I didn't speak to people. I literally stayed to myself, because there was this thing that was pressing inward on me. And it wasn't until, honestly, just recently, where I started to realize that this thing had a shelf life. It was only meant to happen from this point to this point, and now it's coming to an end. And finally now I can live, because life is for the living. And that, I think that's kind of a lesson, maybe, you know. It was all to serve one purpose, and now the purpose is served, and now I can move on and move forward from it. And I'm very, very relieved. And I feel different too, which is cool.
That's good.
It makes me feel a lot more just good. You know? Just good. I don't know what else to say. Just feel good about things. You know?
The only bad thing about me and the paranormal stuff is, I think I told you this, is that back when this like whole kick was like going, especially ghost adventures and stuff of that nature, I didn't believe, and I was those guys that were making those hoaxes and stuff, trying to stir up some shit, because I didn't believe it. So that's why it's hard for me to start to believe believe in it because of like the way I did it, how childish I was with the whole thing. Because there was another story, but it was very odd how it ran its course. Back behind my house, like a little down the ways by my house, there's a old graveyard, like a family graveyard that everybody just chilled at some point in time. But we didn't. Let me say this: somebody did. I don't know if it was just animals or somebody did, but they did like desecrate some of the things. But we didn't do anything to them.
No.
But one night, I had a random friend come out of nowhere. Came over. He had a couple friends come over too, and they were on acid.
Oh God.
And they wanted to go walking around. We walked around. We went to this graveyard, and I put it on my mission. I was like, he's on acid. I'm gonna scare his ass. I'm gonna fuck that guy. I'm gonna scare him. So we
Pure
did.
evil incarnate.
Yeah. You did the right thing.
Absolutely.
So basically, I stood up and I kind of got freaked out, and I just ran out of the because it was kind of covered by some trees. I ran through the trees, and they started running. They ran behind me, but kind of off to the right. And it was dirt because they were about to start building houses back there. And I acted like something hit me, and I fucking got tackled and I rolled on the ground, trying to give a little.
Oh, you were selling it. That's
I was
exactly.
selling it.
Selling the hell out
I
of
was
it.
like, what the fuck hit me? And after that, I was like, I started laughing about it, but then they started to look at my shirt, and out of nowhere, it looked like a face planted in my shirt that got smushed.
So you fell on whatever it was.
I like that, but that I
You
feel
know what I
like,
think happened? I think there was a spirit there, and he was getting ready to do some shit, and you literally
I fell on
you
him.
cut him off.
Dick.
He was like, "This sucks. I had some good stuff saved up I was gonna use
I
tonight."
just wrote this stuff. I guess I wait for the next day. So yeah, that was weird, weird. But I kept thinking, I was like, maybe it's just because we were looking at it hard. You know how just the blob squatch and the bush dog man. When you stare at it and you keep thinking that looks like.
Yeah, pareidolia. Or
Yeah,
whatever. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Pareidolia.
I think you're right.
Somebody will correct us.
I'm sure.
I keep wanting to.
They'll
think
type
of
it out.
We have
And
some
we still won't be able to read it.
We have some awesome fans. They'll reach out. They'll tell us.
I keep thinking you're saying what
And
was it? Paradiddle.
Paradiddle. I think it's one thing that's great about our fans is that when we say something dumb,
Yeah.
it's like they step in and they're like, "Hey guys, look, it's this."
Is this?
Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. That's why we count on you guys out there. Just keep an eye on
Yeah,
us. Make sure we don't do anything dumb.
I haven't seen anything super negative at all from the fan base. It's always been super positive or corrective, but not criticism.
They're solid gold, man. I've seen a couple people that have popped on there. One guy popped on there and he was very assertive in regards to the Nephilim.
Yeah.
That these beings out in the wilderness are Nephilim, and they are the half
Angel,
half
man.
angel, half man. And when I responded, I was like, "Hey man, I really appreciate you stopping and putting your 2 cents in." And he actually responded. He was like, "Wow, thank you for not being a dick about it." And I'm like, it kind
the whole
of caught me off guard because I'm like, why would I?
And that's the thing with the entire purpose of the Kentucky X-Files is, like we talked about once before, it was a podium for everybody to tell their story.
Exactly.
It's not to criticize.
Nope.
It's not to make assertions.
Nah,
It's not
yeah.
to, it's let's look at everything.
Why not? We don't have nothing to lose from it.
Now, if you send us a video or a picture that's obvious bullshit, we're going to call it out because there's
I might
nothing.
post it anyway.
There's nothing that tickles me more than seeing something that's total BS, calling it out on being BS.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to happen no matter what. Because everybody, okay, like you were saying earlier today, you liked the episode with Landis.
Yeah, the Landis episode was
because
my
how
favorite.
he did, he kind of I know you said you hated the word debunked, but
Yeah.
he kind of did that whole the 911 call.
Oh, but yeah, that's the thing though, is he totally blew it out of the water. He debunked it.
Yeah,
he made an assertion from an expertise that he carries.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's
That's different than somebody trying to debunk a UFO video, because the U in UFO is unidentified.
Unidentified,
How
right?
do you debunk something when nobody knows what it is? But yeah, he killed it. I hated that episode, because that 911 call was my favorite for the longest time.
That's what the reactions that you got out of me and Denny were genuine, because I actually thought it was genuine. And just like everybody out there, they'll see something and they think it's genuine, but now I stuff like that, like having these things that come to light a little bit, it makes me to okay, I'm gonna look at it. It might look awesome, but I'm gonna take it with a grain of salt. Kind of like the whole the kangaroo thing. The errant kangaroo. Dude, when I saw that video, it looked like it was the way, it literally looked like your typical werewolf from a movie.
Right.
The way, the shadow hit it. But when he put that, filter on it, you can tell that it showed a little bit more definition and outline and stuff. And it's those kinds of things that, it's a bummer, because you want something, but that one at first I was like, dude, if this was real.
I can't believe that video resurfaced too, because I remember seeing that video years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Years ago, probably. God, I was living in the next town over, so I'd say 6-7 years ago, probably, is when I saw that video for the first time. And when Denny showed it to me, that was the first thing I said. I'm like, yeah, I know that video, but a long time ago. The guy's reaction was great. I do not, for the life of me, I do not think that guy was acting.
Yeah.
I think that he was actually terrified of something running through his backyard.
Yeah, because it didn't, the way, seeing it through the phone, and you're seeing, if he's seeing the same thing we're seeing, that's startling. Because you don't know what it is.
Right.
You can't see definition of what it is, but it's tall. So your mind is racing, especially in this day and age with all these different types of horror movies and stuff. Your mind is just gonna go ape shit.
And we can even refer back to Cowman.
Oh yeah.
There was a lot of comments about the Cowman too.
Right. I mean, I was born and raised in the country. I've been around cows and all kinds of farm animals, one way, form or another, my entire life. That cow terrified me in the middle of the night. So imagine somebody that may not live in an area where they have wild animals that can surprise you.
Right.
So anything that would have come running across there that wasn't a dog or a cat would have probably been terrifying.
Absolutely. I still think, honestly, when you told us about the cow staring in, I pretty much was imagining it as you were telling it, and I was sitting there like, you said your reaction, you jumped up, and I was like, dude, yeah, I would, I could see myself like, holy shit,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was that would be so far out of the what you expect that, like he was saying, you're in your safe place, and you're watching some TV, you're chilling out, and you got that feeling, and that was the other part of your story that really stuck with me, was you had that feeling come over you of I'm being watched. And I'm a firm believer in that sixth sense. I just don't think the sixth sense is what people think it is. I don't think it's so much, reading minds or predicting things, whatever.
It's an intuition.
Unless you
Bruce
can,
Willis.
or Bruce Willis. I think it's our gut instinct to know that something is amiss, something's wrong, something is out of place, or something is watching.
Yeah, it's a survival instinct.
Absolutely. We were our ancestors were little primates, that stood up one day because it was much more handy to be able to stand up and look over the tall grass. You see a big ass tiger coming, let's climb a tree. Hey guys, remember Bobby got eaten last week, so we need to get up this tree. There's the big cat's over there again, and every time it comes around, somebody goes missing. We developed this. Eventually, you don't even need to know the cat's there. You just have this feeling. It's time to get up the tree. It's time to, It's like why my son has chickens. Why do they put themselves up high every night to roost? Well, a few didn't, last night, but raccoons got them, and unfortunately. But there you go. I mean, the instinct. Hey, let's get up high. Let's minimize our chance of being eaten by something bigger than us. I fully believe in the sixth sense. I think it's a very real thing, and everybody out there that's researching all this stuff, whether it's ghosts, UFOs, the big guy, the dog man, well, trust your gut. Something's wrong, go back the way you came. Don't second guess it. Second guessing, it's how people get hurt. If your gut feeling's telling you something's out of the normal, something's wrong, trust it. Stop right there, turn around, go. You can always fight another day. There's no finish line here. There's just, survive, take what you can from the experience, learn from it, go forward. Don't put yourself in harm's way. And the big guy, we just heard an email tonight where a big guy literally knocked a guy out. And apparently he tucked him in with some hay, and he took care of him. I don't know what to think there, maybe he wasn't looking for a fight, but it happened, so he handled it.
And, maybe it was they surprised each other. That's the other thing, too, is some barns don't get walked into very often.
That is true.
Sometimes barns sit for months without anybody walking in them.
Makes me wonder if in that story, I'm not trying to make light of Dan's story. His name was Dan, wasn't it?
Yes.
Dan. In Dan's story, if I could metaphor this a little bit, Dan was the cow, and the big guy was Josh.
Right.
Watching TV in the barn, and he got startled.
And that's that makes sense,
Yeah, I mean, if there was nothing between you and the cow, would you have swung?
There's a real good possibility.
You know what I mean? I hooked Tyler up to a VR game one night. My kids have a VR game for the PlayStation, and we wanted to see Tyler's reaction to the game. It's a scary game. And these things jump out at you, and they sneak up on you in the game. And I'm not trying to make fun of you for getting scared, because I will be the first to admit that game scared the shit out of me, too. I'm not making fun of him for this, but his reaction was, there was a lot of education there. His first reaction, he swung. You probably don't even remember. But you swung. And we were laughing, but I'm like, wow, his first instinct is right cross.
So were you watching it on the screen while he was watching it in VR?
Oh, I saw, yeah.
So you saw exactly
yeah.
what he was doing then. That's awesome.
And it was really interesting, because I'm like, okay, so all bullshit aside, it scared the shit out of him. Like I said, I can't sit through the game. It scared the whole... dude, I played it for 10 minutes, and I literally took it off and told the kids, I'm like, I'm not playing this anymore. I'm done. Nope, not for me. it gets your heart going. It's like you go into the game, it's not real, but it fools you. All of a sudden, it's real, But it lets your gut instinct take over, and man... seeing him swing, I'm like, wow, his first reaction was literally swing at it. So yeah, I mean, maybe he walked into the barn, or maybe the big guy was on his way out. I don't know. I really want to hear from this guy again.
Yeah, definitely.
I really want to hear some more, details of the story, like time of year. You know what I mean? If there was any description, size-wise, blah, 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 just anything you can recall.
Some geographical locations would be good.
Yeah,
if he could send it to us anonymously, or if he doesn't want everybody to know where he is.
Yeah.
If we could get a map or...
I did get a follow-up, not to cut you off here. You just reminded me, a guy named Robert, the first guy that reached out about the UV lights. I helped him with the UV light. He did touch base. I had actually sent a follow-up email saying that I knew a couple researchers. They were past guests, Kevin Wright and Josh Grierson. And I told him that if it would be okay with him, if I could get them, to come down and take a look at the place, do I have a giant insect on me? I feel like I do. It was the Mothman, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay, and
I really don't want to see the Mothman. That means something bad's going to happen.
That's true.
It's bad juju.
Bad juju, yeah.
Bad juju.
So he actually responded he hasn't had any more incidents.
No
birds,
sounds?
No nothing. Birds are not getting taken. He did, however, say that he would much rather not have people coming to his property. And I feel like it's pretty reasonable. I understand. It's kind of disappointing because I would love to get those guys' eyes on the scene. Because I know that they have a whole bunch of stuff. They actually want us to call them one night and want to fill us in on some of their adventures. So we're eventually.
Have they ever got out to Candace's place?
I don't know.
I know they were trying to work it out, but I thought she said she was going to be moving from that area after the last.
I thought so too.
But
Candace, she sent me a bunch more pictures. The new job the hours are crazy. I've got them. I still haven't had a chance to really go through them. I've skimmed them, and I'll forward them over to you guys so you guys can check them out if you want and see if you see anything in them. But other than that, though, I mean, she's still actively pursuing, and she's taking as many pictures as she can, and she's healthy and she's doing okay. So that's the most important thing, for me, because when we lost touch with her,
I was confused.
We actually got really concerned because we couldn't get a hold of her. We're like,
and then her Facebook presence,
just gone.
Just gone. So but, I know she said that she was having some problems with random, I guess, deleting of emails and stuff.
Yeah, it's
so it was kind of odd, and.
Not the first time we've heard about it either.
Yeah, it's not the first time we heard about it. And the crazy thing is, I think we've talked about it, but we've had ourselves a little run-in with some oddities in our own area, too.
Yeah, the phone's overheating thing was weird, the disconnecting of the calls. I mean, stuff that normally doesn't happen, just out of the blue one day. And it was right after a guest, that part of the conversation was not included in the actual episode because we wanted to keep things, basically, we were worried about possibly saying too much, and it was funny is that part of the conversation was technically private, yet that is when things started happening on his end and ours. So I don't really know. Maybe a big coincidence, but it was weird.
Yeah.
Can't really sit here and tell you that I had a gut instinct about it or anything. You know what I mean? It was just kind of odd.
The only reason why I brought it up and I thought something a little bit about it was another. I'm not going to throw names out because just don't want to.
No.
But there was another YouTuber that said it happened to him. His phone overheated. And
that was after that had happened to us too. So when we heard that, we're like, whoa, this is weird. This happened to us,
Yeah, because my phone overheated, and then when it finally kind of came back on, it said, "Oh, your update's done." I was like,
"What update?
What update?" It will tell me before it does. It will give me a notification saying, "Hey, do you want to do an update now or set a timer?" And I never set a timer. Just disclose that I never said anything. I'm not lying about this. So it was odd. The phone started overheating, and then that happened. I was like, "What the fuck is going on with this phone?"
Yeah, it's
weird.
And it's
really weird.
It has not done that before.
I haven't had any trouble since.
Yeah,
it was that day.
Just
this one guest. I don't know what that guest has going on. I know, like I said, he's good guy all around. I actually had a really long conversation with him 2 days ago. I was on the phone with him for about an hour and a half.
Okay.
he basically just wanted to touch base, and what we were talking about was I've been a Patreon of Thinker Thunker for almost maybe half a year, I guess. And if anybody out there hasn't heard of Thinker Thunker, I mean, you know, especially if you're interested in cryptids or specifically the Sasquatch, you really need to become a Patreon. It's $1, and you're going to get way more information than you bargained for, put it that way. A while back, I tried to assist Thinker Thunker as much as I could. There was a video that surfaced of something very large walking past a snowcat, and for anybody out there that's not up to speed on what a snowcat is, primarily they're used in the Arctic or in Alaska. It's a big tracked vehicle. It's about the only thing you can really use up there when you're traveling glacier. You know what I mean?
It's like a bulldozer with a cab.
That's it, man. You know, I always wanted one.
Yeah,
like, they're so cool.
Right.
But
it's like if you set a van on some tracks.
These guys are.
That's a good example of it. Yeah.
These guys are out in the woods, and they're actually using one to plow. You know, they're literally plowing snow with it, trying to clear a path. You know, and just barely in the background, you can make out something big walking past the snowcat. Like it's so wild, right? So Thinker Thunker sends out this mass message like, "Hey, does anybody know how big these snowcats are?" So, me being me, I'm like, "Well, I'll find out for you." So I gave him 10 years of snowcats. And I narrowed it down to 5. And the reason I narrowed it down to 5 was because of the resolution of the video. If you go back 5-6 years, 1080 isn't really a thing. It was 720, right? So my thought was, okay, so we know that the video itself happened within the last 5 years, 6 years tops. Before that, this wouldn't pertain to the year of the snowcat, right? But that gave me something to work with. Snowcat itself in the video looks good, you know. It looks good. It's in great shape. It doesn't look like it's been fading for years, you know, or used a lot. It looks pretty new. So I started digging up every make and model of the snowcat for the last 10 years. I put together a big comprehensive list, you know, of all the snowcats, and the one thing that I came across was the height of the cab. And the height of the cab never really goes below 8 feet, never really goes above 9 feet. But over the years, they just kind of stay, depending on the model, they stay right in that range. So it gave me an idea that, okay, so 8 feet is our minimum, 9 feet probably our maximum, you know. Whatever this is, its head is over the top of the cab as it walks past. And I sent it back to him. So, you know, he gets that. Shortly after that, he came and checked out our kangaroo video, and actually, you know, got on there and commented, like, I think you guys really nailed it here, you know, it's very, very, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I know for a fact that man dissected our video. You know, it's his nature to dissect, so I know he dissected it. I know he looked at every angle. Really, really honored that he did. That was so cool.
That's amazing.
It was so cool. Just to have somebody else out there that we know is looking for the answers, you know, especially with a reputation like his. You know, he's a pretty no bullshit guy.
I feel like if anything, I feel like that's how this podcast, I feel like, is aiming for, because we like to take what we've seen out in the, like, on the interwebs.
All of them.
All
of them.
Not,
it's plural.
Like because there's a bunch.
They're all woven together.
But yeah, like, I feel like that's why that's what we're aiming for, is how we want to do this. We have more of a discussion part, but we like the whole analyzing and like trying to get to the bottom of it. We don't want to just take it at face value there's some, like, especially on Thinker Thunker's side, there's some, like, compelling things that it's like, what the heck is it like this?
Yeah,
like,
that's actually what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Was I know I got way roundabout on that. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but
It was a journey.
I'm so sorry, guys. He put out a thing saying that he put all of the screams. You know, there's screams that have been recorded all over the United States, Canada. I mean, it's the same scream, but it's coming from different areas. I know we've touched on this before, but he put them through a spectrograph.
Yeah.
And he came back with an A major. I mean, it sounds terrible when you hear it, but if you isolate it and listen, it's an A major. All of its different parts are an A major. So I started thinking about that, and I'm like, okay, well, we know the A is one of the, it's one of the heaviest resonating notes that you can play. I mean, it's 440, hertz. That's a lot of vibration. We also know that an A can travel a lot farther than other notes can. I mean, actually out, So talking to Kevin Wright on the phone, I said, hey, I got an idea. And I know you guys go out and you research areas. I think I might have an idea on how you can mask your sounds.
how long is this note sustained? Like, can a normal person actually sustain a note like that for a long period of time?
Looking at the spectrograph, that's the part it's probably, for me, it's one of the most compelling pieces of evidence. To me, it trumps pictures, video, all of it. I mean, at this point, we basically have sonic DNA, because Thinker Thunker literally he ran it side by side with every known North American animal.
Yeah, I've actually seen that video. And the spectrograph, the wavelengths, it's the Sasquatch scream is entirely different waveform. The visual of it is completely different than anything else. Bear, wolf, coyote, people, dogs.
And
that howl is...
Yeah,
it's dense.
We can't reproduce it.
Right.
That's the beauty of it.
It's dense.
The only thing I kept thinking was, my first thought, being kind of a shit, was, okay, well, how could I reproduce this sound? So I've got an experiment I think we should try.
Yeah.
I want to take one of those screams, and I want to blast it through a PA. And I want to go out far away from it and try some different distances and try to record it. And let's see if we can catch it. See if it matches up. Because my first thought is, I was like, okay, we have a sound that's maybe not producible by us, but is it reproducible? Could we take the same scream and play it out? But there's also a little bit of what do you call it? A double-edged sword, I guess. If you blast out this sound, are you calling something? If I'm wrong, and it is legitimate sound that says, "Hey, come here," would that mean would I be welcoming unwanted attention from the big guy, basically?
Right.
So all I keep picturing is that, okay, Tyler, you stay with the thing, blast it randomly, we'll go off in the distance. So
you see anything, you barrel roll it.
So all I keep thinking is that you're going to hear the sound randomly, and then
I wonder if, like, because if you hear somebody yell versus hearing somebody talking through a PA system, you can tell a reproduced human voice versus somebody just being loud.
Yeah.
Right.
I wonder if a creature of any sort would be able to recognize that.
I don't know.
Like even with like wolves, can you blast the sound of a wolf howl out of a hi-fi speaker and get wolves to call back?
I keep like.
I don't
Well,
know.
another thing
You know?
I keep thinking is that I know it's different,
As
but
food for thought.
like you gotta think about like bird calls and stuff. Like when you go hunting and stuff. Like that's
true.
That's an artificial. But I know those are mostly made out of like could be wood, plastic. I guess I've
Yeah,
never.
but it's still not coming out in electronic form.
That's what I was about to say. Is like just because it's not coming out
Okay.
of like because there's always that little tinge when you hear somebody's voice through something like this, like a microphone.
The
or
echo's
something.
different too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like with being so close to the racetrack, hearing the announcer is different than hearing somebody yell from across the way over at the fishing lakes or whatever. You know.
Yeah, it's very true. And I don't know. I mean, it's definitely. I feel like it's a worthy endeavor to maybe see, but
I'm interested in the science of it.
yeah, I'd like to see if that's
definitely.
approvable.
You know what? In to get faster, possibly more conclusive evidence of it, let's try it with coyote calls.
Okay.
I've got a PA system here, and there are at least 4 packs of coyotes that run down through here.
That's I mean that sounds good to me. I
We
mean,
could set up a loudspeaker as far out as we can go
yeah.
and play a coyote yip or howl and see if we get a report.
I would love to. I know this is terrible, but I would love to play that Sasquatch sound and see how those cattle react to it.
Oh,
Yeah, you know what I mean. But again, it's the ethics of it. I don't know if what we're thinking about doing is a good idea to do. If it is calling something, is that something we want to happen?
are we playing with fire?
That is the ethical problem. You know,
I don't know. Like,
is it worth the risk? Because these things are obviously outclass us. They're bigger. They're faster. They're I mean, as far as an ambush predator goes, this is like your top tier. You know, he's problem solving. He's brilliant. He knows how to avoid us in all of our gadgets, or most of them at least. We'll say, some of them he doesn't avoid, but is it worth the risk of it?
I had an idea that I was thinking of a while back ago. It's kind of terrible, and it'll take some balls to do. But all I kept thinking is that.
Are you talking about dressing up as a Sasquatch?
No.
You remember talking about this? Dressing up as a Sasquatch and like calling out?
I know I don't want to do that because I feel like I'd be in
an unfortunate mating incident.
Yeah, I might be using like, hey, big boy, come over here.
Yeah, never yell the language you're not familiar with.
No, it's bad.
Nope. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
I was
had
way
this
off.
weird idea. Wanted to get a ghillie suit and kind of make my area lay down, but I wanted to make a campfire and put a mannequin just sitting there,
I see. A decoy.
and just lay down and.
You know what you got to do though?
But my thing is going to happen. I'm going to have the predator moment. Remember how Arnold was holding the tree and the predator walked over? So I'm going to have that moment, and he's just going to step on my back, and I'm just dead. Well, I'd probably be paralyzed, screaming for my life.
Dude, you know what I kept thinking is the mannequin. You got to take this mannequin and like put it in your bed, and literally, this is okay. Disclaimer: this is not a messed up thing. I'm saying, lay next to it, get your scent on it, wear the same clothes for like 3 days, put those on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
Get it to just scent. You want to scent it. We need this to be a man, and then put it out there. Because I feel like if it's just a mannequin sitting out there with some clothes you bought for him.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I'm imagining. I just imagined the mannequin sitting at a campfire with like his hands like he was holding a fishing pole.
That's what I thought.
That's what I was seeing too.
Why did we all think that?
Did
That's
everybody
weird.
else think that it was wearing a vest too?
Yeah. Yeah, a flannel,
flannel
a flannel and a vest. That's what I kept thinking.
Yeah, kind of Marty McFly kind of style.
Remember our buddy Brandon about vests? He never understood vests. It's like your chest is cold, but your arms aren't. You know? That guy's got some. He's got some tidbits, man.
Yep.
Little nuggets of wisdom in there. But yeah, I think you send it, get it out there, put a camera on it, let us know how it goes.
All I keep thinking, I kept thinking like I could have like
Josh, we got to man home base during this to make sure that
Right.
you know things are covered.
We need to put a camera on it and do the play-by-play for the podcast
Tyler, how are you doing out there?
because he can't talk. He's just got to lay
That's
there.
True.
So we're going to be sitting there
Put a
watching the
camera
monitor.
on you, and you just blink. If you're okay, you blink. If you're not okay, stop blinking. If you're dead, let us know.
Tyler, are you dead? Use your nose.
Yeah. I think it'd be pretty interesting to watch, though.
Put your what is it the lights, hide them in the trees, like maybe have like a remote that I could like.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think we've ever talked to Josh about our like big plan. He needs to know now that he's in now. He needs to know.
Which big plan? The Airstream?
Yeah.
Oh,
We got an
The
idea.
X-Mobile.
We've been talking about this for months, and you need to know this because this is. I think it's fantastic. It's terrifying, but it's fantastic. We want to take an Airstream and basically turn it into, like, go to the middle of the sighting area and just drop this thing, and it's cameraed out. You know what I mean?
I found the generators that we can use. They're big no noise. They're how are they? They're electric. You
Yeah.
charge them up, and then they hold so many and you can actually buy different cells to add more amperage and watt hours. I think it is.
Nice.
I like it.
So we were talking about how cool it would be to basically black out. I kept thinking of those big ass thick rubber mats. So at nighttime we're like, oh, time to turn in. And go in,
I still.
close up all light sources. Have a curtain around like computer monitors, things like that, so we just stop the light from coming out and just see if anything comes up and messes with us.
But the thing of it is, I think we should totally make it look like we're just camping. Like, I know that sounds kind of dumb. I mean, I grill out, make
Yeah.
it look fun, like just
Oh, yeah.
bullshit with us outside. Like,
Why does any of that sound like a bad idea?
I'm not saying it's not a bad idea, but I'm just saying we
Didn't-
have to play the part.
We have
as
a
campers.
we had a cooler of beer and we grilled the sausages today.
That's true, yeah.
I mean that we didn't even leave.
I feel like we didn't even need to bring up the Airstream at all.
No.
I feel like we could have just said like, "Hey,
Do it
Gibbs,
in a tent.
you want to grill out and drink beers out in the middle of the woods?"
I just can't
I
have.
feel like he was in like way before.
Right.
I just can't have a flare gun.
Meat snacks,
No flare guns for him though.
smoked meats, grilled meats.
All kinds of meats.
I like meats.
I like meats too because it's gluten free.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are we gonna like kind of disclose our whole? We haven't disclosed this game plan in like forever.
That's true. Well, there's a lot of details we can leave out because we don't want
Well, that's
anybody
what-
getting our trade secrets.
Well, that's kind of like what I was wanting to.
But our plans for the future, though, guys, are to go to locations, set up
Yeah.
the podcast in the Airstream, the X-Mobile,
The X-Mobile.
and
We've got a satellite unit too.
there's a satellite unit right there for expeditions, setting up cameras, remote cameras. Oh, I've been testing out a camera with the wife. She's
Context.
she's got Nigerian dwarf goats. Okay, for context.
Cool.
I see your point there. I should say, yeah. The camera's got a pretty good range. It's probably about maybe 200, maybe 220 feet away, and it's It's coming through crystal clear.
The resolution's pretty good.
Resolution's fantastic. Frame rate's great too.
Awesome.
So, and the best part about them is they are battery. It's
How
got
long do you think it'll last?
they'll last 3 days on a charge.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and we've got one. I plan on adding another one to my farm. And dude, I honestly feel like they'd be fantastic. For you guys out there listening, by the way, what you're hearing in the background is a train. And it's loud, but hopefully in the mix we can calm it down a little bit. I know these mics are pretty sensitive, but it's pretty awesome though, right?
It's good that they're moving.
Absolutely.
And when the whole, I hate to say the dirty word, COVID thing happened, the trains got kind of quiet for a while.
Yeah.
It's nice to hear them go again.
Yeah, man, that whole ordeal. I actually heard somebody brought it up the other day that it was on Cryptid Creatures. I was listening to Cryptid Creatures, and they were talking about the COVID thing. The reason the sightings right now are going up is because
people are going out.
People are camping, and they're not going out and into the world where it's dense. They're going into the woods, and it's making the sightings go up.
One kind of people that wasn't infected by COVID.
Who's that?
Sasquatch.
That we know of.
Could be patient zero.
Oh, that'd be weird.
That'd be weird.
What if it's the Sasquatch
they
that
ate
spread
a
it?
bat,
I could see that.
and somebody stumbled on some of their poop.
You know what's weird is years ago there was this movie, The Three Amigos.
Yeah.
Remember that? And they're sitting there and they're grilling bats out. That's the only time ever in a movie where I was like, dude, that bat looks really good. And he's chewing on it and he's like, oh, that's really good. But he takes a bite and he's like, oh wow. I'm like, damn, dude, bat looks delicious.
That was it Martin Short, and he was chewing on the wing and looked like jerky.
Yeah, he was like really trying.
What about that one in Anchorman 2?
Oh my God, yeah.
It's like you can't make money selling regular chicken. You gotta sell bats.
You gotta sell bats.
Like,
it's the chicken of the cave.
Yeah, chicken of the cave.
Chicken of the
They
cave.
have never said that.
Yeah, we are coming up on 2.5 hours, fellas. So I don't know if we want to wrap her up for tonight or keep on going and bust her up into more episodes. I'm good either way.
I know at least we have 30 minutes of us just talking on this.
Yeah, I kind of kept a note of that I'm gonna have to skip a little bit.
Yeah.
Definitely don't want any grandma jokes.
I do have to do some work tomorrow, so I'd be cool if we just shut her down and
Right on.
Yep.
Right on.
we'll do our outros and.
All right. What?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
You're looking at
we
me
both
weird.
just like, I'm just looking at you.
Yeah.
I like looking at you. What's up?
Yeah.
How you doing?
I like these ideas though. I like the Airstream.
Yeah.
I like
yeah.
taking
We
the
might
side by
have
side
to-
out for some remote looking.
We might have to take that out of the episode. I don't want somebody else to get our idea.
Who?
That's why I want to disclose what we actually have in plan when we're off the air. But
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's pretty cool. I think it's so weird that why hasn't anybody thought about doing it? It's kind of odd. So, well, okay. I guess we're gonna wrap this one up.
Let's do it. Let's wrap it.
Put a bow on it.
Put a bow on it.
Well, everybody give some great
Yeah.
comments and stuff. Give Gibbs your love, Josh.
Hey, give everybody your love here. I mean,
Well,
Everybody
you're the new
deserves
guy.
You're
the new guy. Everybody.
This is exciting for
Yeah.
us, man. We're stoked. I'm stoked. Are you
I'm
stoked?
I'm stoked.
I feel
I'm
pretty.
more stoked than you are.
I'm
you're
excited,
not.
No, you-
guys out there, throw me some alien stuff.
Yeah.
I dig that stuff. That's where I
Hell yeah.
love to dig into paranormal stuff. Whatever
Yeah.
you got, man. I'm all about anything
Josh is
X-Files.
into it. He's into it with us. That's why we had to have him. You know?
So yeah, guys, if you have any kind of encounter, any kind of stories that you've heard over the years, you can send it to us. Sorry, kind of got tongue tied there. At encounters at kyxfiles.com. Sorry. I'm bad at that.
You know how many times I've done it where I'm like, KYXfiles.com. Like,
Don't even know our podcast
I don't
name.
even know what our show's called anymore.
Well, guys,
Yep.
kick it out.
We'll see you on the next one. You guys be good to each other. Trust your gut. Keep your head on a swivel. And it's okay to disagree with each other. You know, we don't have to be dicks. That's all we got to do. Just be cool, you know? All right, guys. Peace out.